Hey, good morning, everyone. Now as we continue to basically our last two steps, actually three, because I'm going to surprise you guys and show you how to add just a little bit of extra decoration to your valances if you choose to. But for now, let's just say we have two steps left to finish this valance. If you recall, on our last video, we made the first line so that we would have this is the top of our valance again, the wrong side of the fabric, and we made the first line so that this top portion, I'm sorry, I hope you can see this top portion right here is where we're going to have the ruffle, the gather will be at the top, and we stitched our first line all the way across. And remember again, whatever you do for one of your valances, you have to do for them all. So I kind of jumped ahead of you guys so that I can give you a demonstration of how we are going to make our line for the inserts for, I'm sorry, I'm trying to get the lighting right today, for the next line stitch, that straight stitch that we need in order to insert our rod. So what I did was I went ahead and I measured mine, and the way that I measured mine was you take your tape measure as such. This is the tape measure we used. I took the tape measure and I took the smallest part of my rod and I started at 1. So as you can see, if I take this end of my rod and I put it down, you can see that I need to make this bottom line approximately 1 inch. And I'm just going to try and zoom in for you guys so you can see. If you see the pencil mark that I made all the way across, I made it exactly 1 inch long. So this is this rod is 1 inch. Now, because I know, of course, all of you don't have the same type of rod that I have, depending on your rod, your measurement for your second stitch down could be 2 inches, 3 inches. You actually have approximately, if you go from where your first line is all the way to the end of the hem here, you could probably make it close to about 3.5 inches. If you choose to use a rod that's 3.5 inches, you will still be able to squeeze your rod through. I just wanted to give you that example because some of your rods are going to be different sizes than mine. So I'm going to show you an example of what I mean. So this is the other side of my rod, but because the ball screws off, I use the other side. But let's say you thinking I want my valance to be this thick, then the only thing you do is you take your stick and you're going to put it, you're going to put the rod, the size of the rod on your tape measure. And as you can see, this one, if I use this end, I probably would have made my next stitch about 1 3/4 to be safe, and in that way I could easily push this rod through that stitch. So with that said, just remember to measure the size of the rod that you're going to be using. Then what you do is the same thing we did for the first one. I took a pencil and I used the ruler because the ruler seems to give you a more precise measurement, and I took it. First, I took this end of it from our first stitch, which is right here. So you put the ruler, I'm sorry if you can't see. So you put the ruler on your first stitch, which is right here where 0 is. So your ruler's on 0. And for me, again, I said my measurement in order for my rod to go through was 1 inch. So as you can see from that stitch we made last time, all the way down, we're gonna mark it slightly, 1 inch all the way across your fabric. And then what I did, so that you'll have a straight stitch, because that's what we do next, I took all of my little markings and I lined it up, and boom, I just made a pencil mark all the way across to the end on all 4 of my valances. And now from here, what I'm going to do is go back to my machine. I'm going to stitch this a straight stitch all the way across on all 4 of my valances, and then I'll come back and let you guys see what that looked like. And actually from there, the only thing we have to do is hem the bottom of our valances, and we'll get to that next. So go ahead and make all of your straight stitches. Take your time and measure, because remember what I told you, these measurements have to be precise. You have to have straight lines. You don't want your valance up and down, or your rod will not go through. If you have an inch here and then somewhere you have only a half an inch or a quarter of an inch, your rod is not going to fit. So you want to make sure you're precise with your rod measurements. Please take the time to visit my website, Buster Wraps, BUSTUWRAPPS, BusterWraps.com. Thank you guys. I'll be back with the last step. Bye-bye.